Sonoma Sideshow.
All right, welcome to Sonoma Sideshow, recorded at Grim Reaper Studios, located somewhere at the base of the beautiful Blue Mountains in eastern Oregon. I'm your host, Les, the Snowman Kinnear. Tonight, folks, we're going to Texas. That's right. Tonight's guest is Kevin Klutts. Kevin is one of my oldest friends, and in fact, outside of the family, I've known him longer than anyone else on the planet. Kevin was born and mostly raised in Texas, with an occasional move to Colorado and Oregon and a few other places in between, which is how I met him. His day job, he's a bridge inspector with Lochner. In his free time, when he's not hanging with his family and having crawfish boils and making gumbo and cooking up something good, he's the bass player in his current band, and he's been gigging in the southeast Texas area for decades. Please welcome to the show, the one, the only, Kevin Klutts. Hey, thanks for being on the show, Kevin. What's going down? Chilling. And grilling. So I got to tell everybody that I made a couple of mistakes on the intro. I said you were a bridge inspector, but you're more of a construction inspector. Is that correct?
Bridge and highway.
Okay. I didn't want to put out false information. And and we also, since I'm a rookie and I don't know exactly how to program everything and run stuff through, I'm again doing this old school way with my phone near the mic. So hopefully we get some good enough audio, because it should be pretty fun. And so anyways, Kevin, thank you for coming on the show, and just talk to me a little bit about what it's like there in southeast Texas and where you live, and then what's going down.
It is. Well, we got this Arctic blast, but it's just barely missing us. But it's cold.
It's cold. What's cold? What's the degrees?
I think like 36 or 38.
Whoa.
It'll get down to 32, whatever, later.
Yeah.
But for us, I mean, we can't survive in this kind of stuff. We can't leave the house, you know what I mean?
Right.
It makes you want to quit smoking cigarettes, you don't want to go outside and smoke a cigarette.
Oh, man.
So luckily, we're not getting the snow or ice or nothing like that. But,
Sure. Tell me a little bit about Port Neches and where you're at, and kind of that area, what it's all about. If you were just, trying to explain what that southeast Texas area is like.
Well, I got to start, and Port Neches is tradition, and it's we got Friday night football. We packed the stadium, 14,000 people. For a high school football game. And it don't matter if it's 2 hours away. We're going to pack that stadium. It's tradition. It's, we're 30 minutes from Louisiana, 30 minutes from the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
A lot of heritage.
Right. Port town, that's where a lot of refineries and...
Oh my gosh. We are a hot spot for refineries.
Right.
We've got Motiva, which is the biggest refinery in America, or maybe even the world. I'm not sure.
Right.
A lot of oil and gas.
Yeah. Well, listen, one of the things I've always thought was pretty cool and interesting about you is the fact that you're a musician. And so I thought tonight we would kind of just touch base on that and talk about kind of some of your influences and just kind of your history in music. So with that, I mean, tell me how music or playing music, how it found its way into your life. Like, when was that, and what started that?
Well, it's a long story. I mean, you want me to make it a short story?
Well, you got 40 minutes, but go for it.
My introduction to music was probably 10 years old. Ozzy Osbourne and Randy Rhoads. My brother I've got a brother that's 4 years older than me. So in 1979, 1980, Ozzy Osbourne and come out solo, and he really, he's Ozzy Osbourne, right?
Yeah.
So I would sneak in my brother's room when he wasn't home, put on his headphones and listen to Ozzy Osbourne, Van Halen, Iron Maiden, all of that Rush. And I say at 10 years old, I was a major metalhead.
Yeah.
And it took me away from everything, from the world.
Right.
And it was my escape, and it just, I think it's born in you. You know what I mean?
You're right. Right.
And, because, everybody's got their shit and all that, and they got their escape, and music was mine.
Right.
And
when did you starting to play it? Like, because you played, what did you play first? Was it drums or?
Well, that was what gravitated me to music, was the drums.
Mm-hmm.
So 5th grade, I joined the school band playing drums. I did all that. I grew up moving a lot. We were poor. I never was able to carry on after the 5th grade.
Right.
And then life happened, and I dabbled a little bit, but I was 40 years old. Well, probably 39 before I actually had my own set of drums.
Right.
And became a drummer. Now, I'm 50 now. That was 10 years ago. And then I played drums for I got to go back. 96, started a band with my brother. That's 4 years older than me. And my best friend and another guy, good friend of mine, and I played bass because we needed a bass player, and I had a bass, it was given to me. And then my son was born, so I put everything down. I had an acoustic I would play, just strumming country songs, and when I turned 40, I got drums. Well, I did that for 3 years, then my shoulder gave out. I couldn't play. My arm wouldn't hold up. So I went back. So I say 7, 8 years now I've been playing bass.
Right.
Which I love. I actually like the bass more than the drum. I like standing up and being out on the stage rather than behind the drum kit.
What is your band that you're in now? What's their name? What do you guys call yourselves?
Human Anchors.
Human Anchors. And what kind of music do you play?
It's like a 90s acoustic rock
Okay.
Although we're getting away from the acoustic and going electric, but still the same style.
Yeah. Here's one for you. Do you remember the name of the first band that you were in?
Back of some high.
What?
I actually named that band. It was Lack of Some High.
Oh, okay. Nice.
LACISUM HIGH.
Yeah.
And Lack of Some is musical, spelled backwards.
There you go. Nice. Tricky. Very tricky.
Boom.
So when you got into music and were playing there in Southeast Texas, what was the music scene like when you started playing? What was going on down there?
It was Beaumont, Texas. They're geared more towards metal, new metal. With the grunt, the heavy lyrics with the screaming kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's real big here.
Yeah. Interesting.
That was the Human Anchors used to be called Down by Default, and we were a metal band, and you saw us, you heard us.
Yeah.
Well, the difference here, but we ended up parting ways with the guitar player, and the singer happened to be a singer-songwriter, which is where the 90s pop stuff comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And we just reformed. 3 of us. We're a 3-piece now.
Right. Nice. So, you remember your first paid gig? Not just with this band, any band. Just the very first time you got paid. The first time I got paid to play music, my aunt paid me and my buddy to play just acoustic guitar instrumental in the background while she had her dinner or Christmas party for her employer that she worked with, and had everybody over, and we just sat in the background and played, instrumentals. And I think she paid us $50, paid us with the company. I kept the check stub and everything because I was like, yes, I got paid. So you remember yours?
Are you there?
Yeah. Do you remember yours?
Okay. I lost you. I do. We were here in the local scene here in Beaumont. It'll be 3 bands. They may do it everywhere, but and you just play for the door. You have a cover charge to get in.
Yeah.
You split it between everybody at the end of the night. And it's usually enough to tip the bartender. That's what I did.
Nice.
With my first paid gig, I tipped the bartender.
Nice. Well, that was very nice of you, though. I mean, you guys were in this thing together, right?
It's about the music, man.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I had the best time of my life. That first show, I'll never forget it.
What do you remember where it was at? Like the specific?
Oh yeah, Texas Rose Saloon.
Nice.
2016.
How about your favorite gig of all the gigs you've been playing and stuff? What's the one that just stands out as I had the best time that night? Maybe the music wasn't the right or the crowd, whatever, but you had the best time. Favorite gig?
2000. I don't know the year. It was about 4 years ago. We played Mardi Gras in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
And we opened up for a band called Saving Abel.
Mm-hmm.
sure if you're familiar. They were a popular. They had a one-hit wonder. They had that song. I believe it was. I'm so addicted to all the things you do when you're going down on me.
Oh yeah. I remember that. Yes.
We opened up for them.
Oh,
Mardi
nice.
Gras, and we had the best night. We played that Jumbo Jenga, and everybody was in love that night. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how many bands have you been in? Because it seemed like just since we reconnected here the last few years that you've been in quite a few.
Well, the thing is, being a bass player, I'm the most sought after member of the band. And to be in a band, and anybody in the band knows this, that it's hard for everybody to be on the same page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, my son is grown. I got one child. He's grown, and I got time on my hands. So I'll be in two to three bands at one time. But
Nice.
right now, I mean, but most of it's just being the same band, just a member change and a name change.
Yeah. Right.
But basically the same people,
How about this?
So,
Who, and this is always a tough question, I'm sure, but who in all the people you've played with, would you say was the best musician you ever played with? And if you don't want to say that, you could say who was your favorite musician you ever played with?
oh, man, that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
Well, golly.
Yeah, I got you, didn't I?
Yeah, you got me on that one. Because there's so many.
Yeah. What was that guy that I always really liked when you and I connected? Tony played it like Jeff Healey, kind of.
Tony Falk, yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun. But I don't know. That dude was incredible.
Yeah.
But I got a cover band just kind of put on hold. Really, really talented band. It's actually the singer played with Tony before I did. He played bass and sang for Tony.
Mm-hmm.
That's real good. Some real good musicians. I mean, this guy, John Jagna, I forgot to tell you about him. He builds guitars.
Oh, wow.
They're amazing. They got that Santana look, Santana's guitars.
Mm-hmm.
They got that look, but incredible musician.
Well, in in the bands and the different guys you play with, has there been a particular song that was your favorite? I remember, when I'd be with guys playing, there's always just one song that I always, either it was because I could just kick back and not do much, which that was usually what I did, or it just felt right to play it, because you know how a band is, it's not every song is your choice. So,
well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, like "Sea of Sorrow" by Alice in Chains.
yeah.
That song always resonated with me. A lot of Alice in Chains. But for some reason, I never could stand House of the Rising Sun. by the Animals.
Really?
Or Mustang Sally.
Oh, yes, played that one many, many times. But I guess that one I like because it was kind of a no-brainer, and you could always get people up to dance, always.
Right. It's a crowd pleaser.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Everybody does it,
Yeah.
And I love the Animals. Eric Bergman is by far one of the greatest singers ever. But House of the Rising Sun is just so overplayed.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you this: if you were to scroll through your playlist on your phone right now, the music that you listen to, what's that one song that most people wouldn't think that you would have on there? You know, that you might be a little embarrassed to even tell people, but you know, like for me, it might be there's what's that Justin Bieber song? There's a Bieber song that I liked, and I can't remember what the name of it is, but you know, something weird like that.
What? Madonna.
Really?
I'm a huge Madonna fan. I like all her stuff. Especially the early stuff. You might be my lucky star.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with that stuff.
I love it. But a lot of that 80s new wave stuff, just like I was saying earlier, I was a metalhead, you know?
Yeah.
And then, I met you when I was about 13 and became a big country.
Yeah.
I went from metal to Hank Jr. and all that. And shoot, I forgot where I was going.
Well, that's all right. Yeah. Well, hey, let me ask you what kind of gear do you use? What's your setup?
Man, it's nothing special, but I got it set up exactly how I want it. I've got a Mark bass 310 combo.
Oh yeah, nice.
Marcus Miller, and got a Stingray, Ernie Ball, Music Man Stingray, 4-string butternut with MPEG compressor pedal.
Nice.
But my practice amp is pretty badass. It's a Carbon 1000 with a Hartke 410.
Nice.
I got two 410s. Man, I'll tell you what, when I started playing bass, learning the cab and head combo and all that electronics, oh, man.
Yeah. Makes
it's
a difference.
Amazing. And you can't just put anything together, blow stuff up.
Right.
I learned the hard way. It's a lot of money, you know. Not doing my research, but I'm set up now.
Has there been ever any instruments that you let go that you wish you still had?
My first bass.
Really?
My father-in-law gave it to me, and I am not going to go into anything about that piece of shit.
No.
But it got me. He was a bass player.
Okay.
He was the greatest bass players I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me that bass for Christmas in '96 when we started Like Some High. And I ended up pawning it because we were broke, you know, just
sure
trying to make it with kid and all that. I wish I still had that bass, even though.
Well, What?
Another bass I burnt in a bonfire. That dude, but
Well,
that one bass.
what about what's the bass or an instrument that you aspire to get someday?
A Geddy Lee edition Fender jazz bass.
Oh yeah, nice.
He's Geddy Lee Rush, greatest bass player ever.
Hey Kev, what's the best concert you ever went to? What's your favorite concert? I went to AC/DC one time, and I loved it. It was great.
Bro, oh man, I wish I could have seen AC/DC. But I mean, there's so many. I mean, one that stands out was Roger Daltrey from the Who.
Yeah.
He was touring solo, but doing all the Who songs.
Right.
He had the bass player from the Who. He just was. It was in Red Rocks Amphitheater in Morrison, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
That was an amazing night. A bunch of mushrooms.
Yeah, hey. Okay. Well. Hey.
Hey, it's a man. Come on.
Okay.
Hey, come on.
Let me ask you this: how does your family handle your passion of music? Like, is everybody cool with it? Did they come to the gigs? Are they supportive? Or are they like, oh, come on, Dad? Or, how's that gone?
Well, my wife is a lover of music, so she's 100% supportive.
Yeah.
She kind of gets annoyed with practice sometimes.
Yeah, I get that.
She's been at every show, though. I mean, she's never missed one single show. My son, I don't know what happened with him. He's all into. He's not into nothing I like. You know what I mean?
Right, sure.
We don't have no kind of connection. He's into today's music.
Right.
But he was an athlete. He wasn't when I played the drums, he wanted to play drums so bad, but he just didn't have no rhythm, wasn't there, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, so is there when you're gigging and stuff? when you're gigging, what's the one place you want to play someday that you would love to play?
Oh man, I'm glad you asked that.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a stadium. I'm just saying.
Dream,
yeah, go ahead.
My dream is to play at like a state fair or a festival where they got the big stage, with the professional sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like a fair.
Yeah, and somebody else is running the board, and you don't have to do all that stuff. And
right. Just to hear the band on the big sound like that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Big production.
Hey, have you ever
done that. No.
in your music stuff? Were you like a writer, or are you always just playing the bass, or did you ever do some of the writing and any of that?
Yeah, I like to write. Laxam High, I wrote 4 of our 9 songs, and I'm writing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What are you
being creative?
Where you want this music thing to go, bro? Where are you headed with this?
I don't know. If I could make a living doing little small tours, think I would like that.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, who's your top dream person you'd like to jam with? Anybody on the planet. If we could find someone, who would you jam with?
Besides you?
Bless your heart. Bless your heart. Yeah, besides me, a real musician.
I don't know. Like, I'd probably say be more like if I could sit in with a band.
Yeah.
Probably be like, oh, so many.
Yep.
But I don't know.
Would it be more?
Like Megadeth.
I was gonna ask you what genre? Probably heavy metal, huh?
Yeah. Well, I say heavy metal to southern rock, kind of. You know.
Yeah.
From Metallica to Leonard Skinner, Megadeth to Leonard Skinner.
Okay. I got a very
just hard rock, AC/DC.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could sit in with AC/DC all that.
This is I got the hardest question for you tonight. Hardest question. What? Who would you say is the best musician and or band to ever come out of Texas? Boom.
Oh my gosh. First, instantly I thought the top.
Of course, you know who I would say, but
there's a lot.
I would have to say Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Stevie Ray Vaughan, yeah, of course. My old buddy Cash is sneaking his head through the door.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Kev.
I'd say, well, of course, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Hey, man, is football popular down there?
That's what I was saying about Port Neches.
I'm being a smart aleck.
We're
Yeah.
known the football in Texas.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's a lot of fun.
I can't believe.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe your stadiums. Like, Brian, your brother Brian, has sent me videos from the game there, the high school games, and it's just like, good Lord, that stadium is nicer than that high school stadium's nicer than a lot of college.
Right, and that ain't ours is nothing compared to some of them.
That's what I've heard.
Bigger schools. Oh yeah, we're talking college stadiums.
Man,
they take it serious.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
Well,
Texas is a great state, man.
It is. It is. I've always kind of thought I could relocate there someday, maybe, at least for a little while, or maybe winter down there.
Right.
So, Kevin,
did y'all catch some of this Arctic blast?
You know,
right now?
Well, we're about the same kind of weather, 30, but that's regular. Arctic blast is kind of normal day for us. We're like, that's just kind of the way it feels around here all the time. But the sun came out for a few seconds anyways, and, so that brings me to this. My grandpa always said, boy, spit wisdom, speak the truth. So my question, I ask everybody this at the end of the interview, I say, if you had one chance to go back in history and give advice to one person, it could be yourself or any historical person of all time, whoever, who would it be and what would you say? Boom, go, pork chop.
Well, I think I need to ask you to repeat that because the first part of the question, the audio did some weird.
Okay.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, gladly. If you had one chance to go back in time and give advice to somebody in history, and it could be you, what would you do? What would you say? Who and what? Spit wisdom.
Wow. That's a really
tough question, huh?
tough question to be asked on the spot,
Well, if you could go back and tell yourself one thing, you had 2 minutes. How about this? 2 minutes to go back and tell 15-year-old Kevin Klutts anything you wanted to. 15-year-old Klutts, what would you tell him?
I know what I want to say. I just don't know how to say it.
Let it out, brother. Let it out.
To actually chase, to do your dreams.
Yeah.
And not just be a dreamer.
Right on. Right on. I like it.
Yeah.
Hey, would you consider coming? Would you consider coming back to the show and talking to me again?
I would love to.
Yeah, I got all kinds of stuff to ask you about down there in Texas. The next time I talk to you, I'm hoping we can delve into Sasquatch in the big thicket.
I'd love to.
All right, buddy. Well, hey, I appreciate you being on the show tonight, and it was great talking to you. You're a character. I love you, brother, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me, bro. This is a lot of fun. Loved it.
All right, man. Tell Southeast Texas I said hello.
All right. And, love you, bro.
Love you. Bye-bye. All right. Want to thank tonight's guest, Kevin, the Pork Chop Klutts. Thank our listeners and our sponsors, Bill Murphy Roofing, Wandering Wizard Concepts, Vertical Jigs and Lures, DLC Photography, The Shop, DieselFuelFilterKits.com, History Hunters and Firearm Antiquities, and, as always, the John P. Salter Foundation. All sponsors can be found online and on most major social media outlets. Intro music provided by Pecan Pie and distributed by Upbeat. News articles, if I do read them, are usually provided by Reuters and Associated Press. That's a wrap, folks. Be sure to catch the next episode. Until then, keep your nose clean if it takes both sleeves. And say nice things about me. 'Cause I'm gone.
You had no right